Take back your choices from conditions. Conditions cannot control you unless you collaborate. Conditions are choices. Collaborate with choices that create freedom and observe choices that create bondage. You can only be affected by your environment if you choose to believe it is so. Humans are hardwired to go with the crowd and follow the leader. Your true essence is to see yourself as the crowd and choose to lead yourself. Let thine eye be single, let thine eye be pure. Give your single attention for 15 minutes 2 times per day, and you will begin to see what you believe you now cannot see. The word of God is not spoken from above, it is spoken from within. Trust is the part of you that is me, which is in effect all of you. Let everything unfold with trust. Have I ever let you down? Have I ever left you alone? Have you ever not gotten exactly what you needed, exactly when you needed it? Know that I cannot leave you. You cannot be alone. I am you. Your next experience is mine. You cannot choose apart from God, for you are a part of God. So when you choose, God chooses. Do not become a martyr. Do not aggrandize that which is natural and inherent to all. Your need to impress and be celebrated comes from the belief that there is something you need to do or be to be accepted, loved, and celebrated. Do not look for external validation. Accept, love, and celebrate yourself in every moment, and accept, love, and celebrate all others exactly as they are. This is your ultimate freedom within and without. For yours is the kingdom of heaven. A recollection, that is a recollection, that cannot be unseen, is being brought to life. You are the kingdom of heaven made flesh. You are the word spoken. You are the thought manifest. You are the energy in motion. You are the emotion. You are the spirit actualized. You are the morning dew. You are breath in you. You are the spring dawn and the darkness too. You are the first thought and the last laugh. You are all of it. Just choose to be, not have. I speak to you every day in every way, but none more potent than in child's play. So go now and make of your life a beautiful game, and allow yourself your heavenly name. Speak it loud and speak it true, for you are heaven and I am you. E kukoia ta mai sakaite tea, koe te sakaite. Welcome, namaste, greetings. This is Wisdom Week. We are back for the third and final installation of this beautiful week of wisdom from our incredible guests around the world, and I am just feeling so happy, so excited, and it's just been an amazing week, and today is going to be no different. Today we are very honored and blessed to be sharing space with one of my mentors, one of my closest beings in this recent journey. Has been a great support to me, a great inspiration to me, and always there, and just feel very blessed and honored to be able to share space with this beautiful being. Her name is Jania Aebi, and if you haven't connected with her before, you're in for a treat. So what I'd invite you to do first before we bring Jania on is invite you please just now hit the little share button. We're live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Please hit the little share button now if you get value from these, if you enjoy these, if you know that there's someone needs to hear this wisdom today. Please share it in your feed, share it in your groups, subscribe on YouTube, retweet on Twitter, and all of that good stuff. And then, I know I'm asking a lot, but please put in the comments if you're watching now or in the apparent future, it's another now. Please put in the comments where you're joining from in the world. and we create this web of wisdom around the world. I loved what Gary Cook said yesterday, the wood wide web. Like the trees are all connected. We need to connect like that through the World Wide Web and the internet. So please share, please put in the comments where you're joining from in the world, and come to this with a beginner's mind, come to this with an open heart, and come to this just with a curiosity, because I feel there's many people offering many perspectives at the moment, and there's we've talked in the other calls, like there's separation and there's lots of different ideas and camps, and people are kind of moving their own direction. And what we're aiming for this week is to bring people back into something that unites us. And all of these beings are going to offer that for us. They have before, and Jania will be no different. So, without further ado, I shall bring on our guest, Jania Aebi. Welcome, welcome, Jania. Namaste.
Hello, Martin. How are you today? How are you today?
Good, good. Sorry, the mic is just a little bit low. It was working perfectly before. Let me just see.
Um,
I'm not sure what's going on. Seems fine on my end. Can you just speak again?
yes, surely.
Okay, there. It's better.
This
It's
is a
better.
beautiful.
It's
It's
better.
better.
I can hear you now. Can you?
Maybe I can move
Oh,
my
yes. That's what it is.
microphone a bit closer. Is
Whatever
this
you're doing
better?
now, it's much better. That's it. Perfect. So,
Okay.
welcome,
Okay, that's
Jania. Thank
great.
you so much. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for um, giving your time, giving your wisdom. And I just want to thank you again for especially this year of 2020. You've been a huge support to me and our family, not just me. So thank you for being here. And
Um, it's my pleasure, Martin, to
uh,
do anything I can.
that's
You're
good.
such a light in the world that really I'm honored to be here with you. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Oh, it's
This is really quite an opportunity for me
beautiful.
to
Thank you
connect
so.
with more people and to give my perspective.
Yes, absolutely. And we've had this wisdom, this I got this guidance to do this wisdom week, and I'd like to start with this. So we've had two other young men as part of this wisdom week this week. On Tuesday we had Nikki Hamid, who is 79 years young. Last night we had Gary Cook, who is 82 years young. And for those who don't know you, in the old world, you weren't supposed to do this. You were never supposed to ask. But because we're in the new world, I would like for you to share with our viewers now and in the future how many years young you are.
Well, this is amazing because you have put the people speaking on your wisdom course, in the right order.
Yes.
Because yeah, absolutely. Because I am now 88 years old.
88, that is. If anyone didn't hear that, that's double eight. Wow, just amazing. Yeah, and my God, and I've known you for a couple of years, and that term 88 years young applies absolutely to you, because I feel you're going in reverse. You're expanding, but in everything else you're going in reverse, and it's just beautiful to see, and magical, magical.
Well, I'm hoping you're right because I have decided I was going to live to more than 200 years.
Okay, so you're not even halfway.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So I'm still very, very young, and
Oh, I love it.
I have lots to learn. And being 200 will let me give me the time to learn everything I need to. Hopefully,
Okay, so
hopefully.
another 112 years of fun here. My God, I wonder what this world will be like in that time. Well, we'll talk about it. We'll schedule that in. We'll schedule that in. Oh, just amazing, just amazing.
I don't think it's any use scheduling what the world will look like in 112 years
Yes,
because it's anybody's guess. I mean, it's just not possible to know because we are creating the world as we go along. So there is
absolutely.
no way to know. It
And
just depends on us what it will be.
you know this better than anyone. I can barely schedule something for tomorrow. Never mind 100 years ago. Oh, I love it. I love it. So again, thank you, Anya. Thank you so much for being here. So we have a lot of new people here as well, joining these calls. So they may not be aware of you and your work. So I'd like for you to just give a brief introduction to yourself, and then we've got some beautiful news and what you've been up to in the last while. But just for those who don't know, love to for you to share a little bit about your journey and how you got to here, what you're doing, what you're sharing now.
Well, that's a big story,
It is.
actually. I'm going to try and make it as short as possible
Yeah.
because, well, I don't know. I don't know how to make it short, actually. I was born in Poland and lived through the World War II in Poland, and that actually has given me a very different perspective on what we are going through now. Because right from the start of this COVID scare in February or March, I was never, ever, ever afraid of either the virus or of anything else. I was totally peaceful about the whole thing because I know that if we die, we die. But if we don't die, we're going to live through it, as I have lived through the war and through all the other adventures I've had. And what everyone most needs really is feeling safe, feeling loved and cared for and supported. That's what people want. It's the only thing they really want. But what they're feeling now mostly is that they're not safe and not loved, and they're powerless, and they can't trust life. But when we realize we had those feelings most of our life, but we're still here, we're still alive, we're still functioning and doing quite well in spite of all the appearances. So we start to realize that our fears always were and always will be quite pointless, right? Because, yeah, we've lived through so much. And I've already lived through scares of all kinds during the war and shortages of all kinds. There were queues of people before every small shop that was there. Supermarkets didn't even exist, so there were small shops selling bread or flour or sugar. And we could only have, I can't remember how much, I think maybe half a pound of sugar a month for each household.
Mm.
And our household was 7 people, so half a pound of sugar doesn't go very far.
Wow.
And a pound of flour, which doesn't go very far either, for 7 people.
Wow.
So there were always shortages of things. And when you stood in a queue in front of a shop, actually most of the family had to stand in different queues, because there was a queue for the flour shop, there was a queue for the bread shop, there was a queue for the whatever else. And in order to get somewhere, if you had, you couldn't spend all day, because by the time you got to the next queue, there wouldn't be anything left in the shop.
Wow.
So every member of the family went to another queue and trying to get another thing. But if you got to the front of the queue, there may not. You just come back home.
Wow.
So this was already the reality, and I was used to that. So when people told me, "Oh my God, there's no toilet paper in the shops," you know, I smiled. I just laughed.
Oh my God.
I just laughed because in my inbox, the post box is always full of publicity that I throw away. I don't know what to do with. And so I said, if there's no toilet paper, you can just take the publicity and use it for toilet paper. I mean, paper is paper, right? What's wrong with Instead of throwing things away, you just use them in a different way. And actually, all those publicities, that is a really good use for them. Toilet paper.
Oh my God. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the thing is, I'm telling you all this because I have simply internalized, even if I didn't know it at the time, that being scared of anything doesn't help. It's totally unproductive, and it just makes you miserable. It doesn't help the actual situation. But if you just take things as they are, yeah, there may be scarcity of food, but tomorrow is another day, there might be more. And if there are scary things happening, like there used to be, and I'm not going to go into that, but you're still alive. Even if you don't get the egg or the sugar or the flour or the piece of bread, there's always something else to eat. There's always something. We're never short of food, put it that way. We may be short of what we want to eat, but we are never short of food. So that is really an opportunity for us. This pandemic is this beautiful opportunity to get acquainted with the fear and not let it take you to the places where you lose all common sense or you lose all regard for the needs of others. You just think of yourself. I need that toilet paper. You just think of others. I'm just going to take one batch and not 6. It's just ridiculous. So the scarcity actually we had was totally created by us. It was a lack of clear thinking, a lack of personal responsibility, a lack of regard for the needs of others, because the factories producing all these things are still there. They're standing, they're producing. Vegetables are still growing. People can go and pick vegetables. The trucks delivering the goods are still running. The economic infrastructures are still there, not like during a war when they were totally destroyed.
Yeah.
So what is all that fear about? It's totally, we have actually created it. It's not something that was there. We have actually created it for ourselves.
Yeah.
But hopefully we have now learned the lesson and won't do that again with the next scare that comes along. Because there will be a next one, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Things haven't completely, we're not still at the point where we can accept everything as it is and be happy and content with what we have instead of just judging things as bad or as shouldn't be, or just judgments and criticism all the time. We still see a lot of that, and until that goes, there will be scares and there will be scarcities, and we need to realize that it through where we're now learning how to meet that. And when it does come, hopefully we'll come out of the fear and the anxiety, which it still generates, much quicker. And with hindsight, we will know that we have successfully navigated through the first wave of these massive changes, and that there were positive outcomes from that. We're already seeing a lot of those positive outcomes. And not least, that people are turning to prayer and meditation in the thousands now, people who have never done it before. We can see the betterment in the way people are truly caring for each other and helping those who can't look after themselves. That there's been a lot of that. And in America, I have been really struck by the fact that I heard from my meditation teacher, that in Philadelphia, 45% of school kids don't have computers or access to the internet. So during this scare, they could not a corporation donated $5 million to purchase computers and tablets for all the kids that didn't have them, and just distributed it to the families. And what the town did is requisition the school buses that were no longer running and place a strategic point, internet access, to where there wasn't any internet.
Wow.
So there are solutions for all these problems. They can be found, but they are only found in a crisis.
Yes.
It could have been done. What Philadelphia did could have been done before, to get those kids computers easily. But what it wasn't done, because we need a crisis to bring about the changes that will be necessary after this pandemic is over. And unless we are forced to make the changes that need to be made for more balance and more equality, more happiness, they just don't get made. We just sit comfortably because we are comfortable and don't think of all the other people who do need a lot of the things we have in abundance, and distribute them to those people. So it applies to our individual lives as well as to the public sector. So I think what is most necessary for us right now, when faced with those changes, is a connection to the eternal part of us, that divinity. And the sectors of economy that are focused on making us reaching a certain number of people are able to connect to that divinity through travel to seminars or live events. They are now able, through the internet, to actually listen to those teachers and those seminars that are put on, streamed on Zoom or whatever. And all the businesses that are actually helping us to get there, like Zoom, for example, I mean, I think it has had an expansion of about it's the epidemic. So there are companies that are expanding, and those that actually help people will expand. And those that don't help, that grab things for themselves, that don't help the positive changes, those companies will not survive. That is for sure. Because we are being helped by divinity, and the planet, even the planet, has finally been able to take a breath of fresh air because the pollution levels have gone down drastically, and fish are coming back into streams and rivers, and even into the ocean. Some fish are coming back who are practically extinct. So when we are forced to a good change, good things happen. So let's just try and make the good changes before the bad things happen to us to make us change, right? And not revert to business as usual. because it's so easy to fall back into old habits as soon as a scare is over. But instead of falling back, we just must intensify that shift in mentality that we've already partly achieved because of this pandemic. So that's basically what I wanted to speak of. But of course, we can't speak far more of the COVID and all that kind of thing. What would you like to?
Well, I feel because we went straight there. Let's flow with this because I love that you bring a different perspective, and I feel this is what is key, and this is what this Wisdom Week is about. You bring a different perspective than I hear most people talking about, to be honest. And even in this field, there are very few people that are bringing that perspective, which I feel is a very balanced perspective. Even myself, I always call myself on this, and you have challenged in outside of this, you have challenged things within me and made me question things, and that's what I love. So I feel we should, if you would like, we stay with this for now, and I feel it's so important what you said, like to not let this, you know, this is for our highest good. It doesn't feel like it at the moment. There's many things that people are resisting, pushing against, fighting against, many different levels and dimensions of what's going on. But I truly feel, on the broadest picture, this is for our highest good. But it will only be for our highest good if we take it in the way that you have just shared, that we begin to change our behaviors, we begin to change how we see the world, how we interact with the world, how we see others in the world, and we use this for what it is ultimately bringing for us. I'd like to ask you, because 88 years young, you've been through so many earth changes. Why do we still need to go through these big crises for us to change? I'd love to hear what you feel about that.
I think maybe is because we have not learned the lessons we have been given. It's as simple as that. I mean, when you go to school, if you have not learned your curriculum for that year, say you're 10 years old, and you go to school and you have not learned the curriculum for the year, at the end of the year, you go back to the beginning of that same year. Okay, go back to the beginning, do it again until you've learned it.
So that's
And
really...
it's the same, exactly the same with us. If we learn our lesson, we can move forward. We can move to the next level. And it doesn't mean to say that there won't be challenges at the next level. There will be, but they will be different challenges because we have different things to learn, exactly like in school. Exactly the same. And also, I think this pandemic is teaching us that we really need to not pay as much attention to our materiality, to our physical body, to everything that is form, everything that is material. Because at root, we are a spirit. This is the big lesson we have to learn. We are a spirit. And basically, we are just having an experience of having a form, but this form is not important. This physical body is not important. And to most people, that's all they have, the physical body. And that's the only thing they have, so they grab onto it and keep it. If I don't have my cigarette, or if I don't have my loaf of bread, or if I don't have my injection against the COVID, it's going to be terrible. Well, to start off with, I would just like to say that we do have an immune system for our body that works perfectly well when it's well balanced. And it's capable of taking care of all the infections that are running around, not only the COVID. every infection your body can heal. I mean, when you get a cut on your finger, do you just look at it and say, oh my God, it's bleeding, I'm going to bleed to death? Right?
That's what's happening, yeah.
That's not your normal reaction, because you have learned that even if your finger bleeds, you're not going to die of it. You know, it's going to heal itself. You don't even question it. You just clean it up, put a Band-Aid over it, and wait for it to heal. And you don't even think about it anymore. The same with any infection, any illness that we have. You clean what you can clean. You put a bandage or a Band-Aid on it, mental or emotional or whatever, and you just wait for it to heal, and you don't doubt it. If you started doubting that your finger will heal, I bet that it will heal in either not heal or heal in months instead of heal in days.
Yeah.
Because we have that power. All the power is in us. And if we doubt that we can actually heal, then we don't heal. It's as simple as that. And the things we are now told to do to stop that infection spreading, they are really basically very, very good, because they do limit the spread of the virus, absolutely. And they do mitigate the stress and the fear people are having around catching it. They feel protected by the mask and the social distancing, so that's good, because they're not so stressed, and stress is really bad for your immune system. So when you have less fear and less stress, the immune system has a better chance of working well. And I really believe this whole pandemic is just a catalyst for a massive, massive global transformation of our ways of thinking and operating. And what else can I say? Well, for those of us who are interested in metaphysics and spirituality and esoterics and other woo stuff, you know, the simple fact, to come back to the actual COVID infection, the simple fact of keeping our vibration high is an automatic protection against anything that has a lower vibration. It's automatic. And that goes for any virus, anything at all. It goes for the 5G radiation, which people are so afraid of. If your vibration is higher than the 5G radiation, then the 5G radiation cannot attach to you. It just won't work. It won't be harmful to you. It will be harmful to the person next to you who has a low vibration and is afraid of it. But to you, it will be no big deal. You'll be able to live around the 5G towers. So it's basically all up to us. And there are simple ways of finding out from the body where your immune system is at. And if it's low, doing what's necessary to raise it. And I have done that for my family. I have checked their immune systems, and I've told them about it, and I have also done the necessary to get their immune system working at more than 90%. Usually it's only working at about 70, maybe 60, 70% for most people. Mm-hmm. But if you're above 90, 95%, you're good, you know. So it's just the ability to get yourself up at that higher vibration, higher frequency, which is done by your thinking, your feeling, your being, and your doing. It's those four pillars. If they are in good order, and if you are connected with your spirit, then you're good. Your vibration is high and nothing can actually faze you. And I think humanity as a collective has been wanting a better and a happier life, a more harmonious one, a more peaceful one. And so collectively, we co-created the challenges we're now facing until we've learned how to peacefully and harmoniously coexist with all the other beings and all the creatures also that share this planet with us. All nature, all animals, even all insects, everything. We've got to let them live. Live and let live. Yeah, live and let live is a good motto.
Absolutely amazing.
So we must take personal responsibility for our individual lives, which is very often not the case. Because we keep blaming others for what's happening. It's always somebody else's fault. It's either your boss or your partner or the government or the doctor or the corporations or the situation or the virus. It's somebody's fault that this is happening. And that is just simply not true. Because everything always starts with the individual. And the conflict is not with your boss or with the government or with the hospital staff or whoever. The conflict is going on within yourself. It's the judgments and the criticism we have about ourselves, about others, about situations, about the world. And those are in conflict with what our divinity knows about us, about everyone else, and about the world. So what we think is not how divinity thinks. And as I've just said in the beginning, we are that divinity. So we need to start thinking like divinity does. So that's the real conflict between what we as people think and what we as our divinity thinks. There are those two aspects. And when we abandon all the judgments, including judgment of ourselves, and we act responsibly when there is a trigger, we act from a place of love and compassion, we act for the highest good of all, not from our reaction to the thought or to the what is presented to us. Or government making us do things we don't do, or I run out of toilet paper unless I get the 10 batches of it. Then the challenges we have brought upon ourselves, they can start dissolving themselves. We don't even have to dissolve them. When we have the right thinking and the right emotional response. And that means wearing that mask when asked to do so. Why not? I mean, what's wrong with putting on a mask if it makes everybody else feel happier? I put on a mask when I go into a store, well, because it's mandatory now, so I put it on. Why not? I mean, there's nothing wrong with putting on a mask, for goodness sake. I don't like it, but that's just my likes and dislikes. If it makes other people feel better, I will do it. It also means not going to a nightclub for a few hours drinking and dancing, with the result that everybody in that nightclub gets infected, and some of them, including you maybe, could die. It means staying home and being the person that keeps your family happy instead of being, I don't know, upset and and connecting to the spiritual part of you that is always there. It's keeping you alive, even without a single thank you from you. It means being grateful for everything that you've received throughout your life, and also grateful for life itself on this beautiful planet, which we've been destroying, and which now is coming back into balance all by itself. We didn't make it come back to balance. We just stopped certain behaviors we were having and certain things we were doing. We stopped what was not good for the planet, maybe good for us, but not good for the planet. We stopped doing that because we were forced to. And the planet is rejuvenating itself. So let's go back to what was, because that was and is totally unsustainable. We must create a new platform from which to operate, which is based on love, on kindness, and allowance of differences, on abundance for everybody, not just for the shareholders of our company and not just for our personal gain or personal well-being. Abundance for everybody. And also stop believing everything you're told. But we need to go to our inner knowing, our intuition, to know what's true. Because what we are being told by the media, by the TV, by the newspapers, some of it may be true, but it's highly exaggerated, and they are totally missing out on what is also true, but what is not terrible and scary. They never give you any of the good things that are happening. So the news and the TV are biased for the bad. So the best thing to do, I only look at TV news, only Swiss channels, not the American ones, because the American ones are really scary and the Swiss ones are a little bit better. And so maybe once every 10 days or so, when I have the time to open the news at the time they're giving them, and that's half an hour every 10 days, just to know what's happening. And my friends and relatives are going to tell me what's happening, whether I want it or not, anyway, because they're all glued to their televisions and they know precisely what's going on. So they give me that version of it, and I just take it with a pinch of salt and think of all the things that are doing really well and that they are not giving us. So you need to go to your intuition, not to the news, to know what's the right thing for you to do and the right thing for you to believe. I mean, your intuition will tell you that. And the outcome of what you believe will show you whether your intuition was in alignment or out of alignment with your divinity. Because unless you're used to going to your intuition, it can be biased. So one thing I do believe this present crisis is meant to teach us is to develop that inner knowing, that intuition, to know what is true for us and what is not, what to believe and what is just manipulation to set us up against each other. Because this is what the news does. It does set people up against each other. All those reports of violence is just a setup, because it's the same channel that will give you the story of the black people being oppressed by the police and the police being, oppressing the bad people. exactly the same news just to set you up. And some people will say, oh, the police are bad. And the other people will say, oh, all that black people are bad. It's just a setup. Nobody is bad. In fact, nobody is good and nobody is bad. There is just divinity. And if we get away from that idea that things are good and things are bad, and we need to push away the bad and grab more of the good for ourselves, that belief in the separation is what creates all the problems we have. And everything is not as it seems. And the media have a responsibility in all the fear that has been generated, because they only bring out all the bad stuff that provokes distrust and provokes fear and dysfunction of every kind. They will only give you the numbers of deaths from the virus. Have you ever seen the numbers of recoveries? Ever, anywhere? And recoveries are far, far, far more numerous than the deaths. We're always being given just one side of the story. So stop looking at the news and stop believing all they say. Because the number of deaths from the Hong Kong flu a few years back, I can't remember when it was, but I think 6, 7, 8 years ago or something, the number of deaths from that flu was far greater than from this COVID. But that didn't shut down the world. We didn't make it a thing. So this crisis comes at exactly the right time, when a far greater support actually is being given to us from the divine energies than ever before. More love is coming through, more harmony, more abundance. Since we have passed the marker, a few markers actually, the marker of the year 2000, and then there was another marker of the year 2012, and another marker of the year 2019, because that one opened up a huge possibility of divine intervention to bring to the surface everything that is dysfunctional, so it can be cleaned up by the light now flooding the world and the earth. The light is flooding in, and if it's to clean up things, they must be at the surface so the light can clean them up. This is why everything that's bad seems to be coming to the surface, is coming to the surface. And it's not that it wasn't around before, we just simply didn't see it. And when we start seeing those things, then we start being horrified. But let's just look at it this way, that unless it's like an infection in your body, unless it comes to the surface, it cannot be cleaned up. So every infection, bodily infection, needs to come right to the surface. If it's inside, your leg or your arm or your hand or your finger goes all red, it's all inside, it hurts terribly.
Isho sotaki te asoko
Actually, I had an infection in my finger, and I must have been 20 or so. I didn't know any of this stuff before. But I pressed it and pressed it and pressed it, and it was terribly painful until it came to the surface and became yellow instead of being red. And this is where you can actually cut it and get all the infection out. And it's the same thing happening with all the bad stuff that we're having in the world right now. So when a TV or a news outlet starts bringing out all the good things that are happening, that station, which has taken proper responsibility for the information they put out, will get more and more viewers, because people want to be given hope for the future. People want to know there is a silver lining to every cloud. And what we get from the internet and the social media, where private people can report what they see or what has happened to them, they can tell uplifting stories to people, of people who have been healed, of people who risk their lives to save others. All those beautiful stories we only get by word of mouth. When a TV station starts reporting those stories, everybody will get them. Stories of cats which are gently stroking a bird. I've seen the story of a lion adopting a baby oryx and defending it against all other predators. Stories of acceptance and of love between animals that traditionally attack each other. Stories of love and assistance between human attacker and attacked, or between victim and victimizer. There are so many beautiful stories, wonderful and admirable things going on, as well as the other stuff, admittedly. But a change of consciousness in the news media needs to come about, so that all the hopeful news will start being presented to everyone, not just to the few people who can hear it from their friends or relatives. And this virus is not just another bump in the road, because people will start to realize where real happiness lies. And it lies in the peace they generate within themselves that will spread to everyone in their environment. You know, happiness is not in getting a bigger house or a bigger bank account or a better partner. It's in becoming what they've always wanted to be and to contribute to the world. And this earth is the only home we've got. It's been supporting us and giving us everything we need forever. So it's really time for us to start becoming the gardeners of the earth instead of its poisoners. And humanity will change. And when we look back in a year, or in 5 years, or in 10 years, we will realize how much we've released of what we didn't really want anyway because of this pandemic. We will realize what else can we realize? Maybe we will realize that we want to celebrate this virus, because without it, we would never have been free of the job we never enjoyed anyway. We would never be free of the relationship that already was wobbling, but now it's over. We will be free of the habits we had adopted, habits of mind, habits of thinking, being, responding, that were not for our highest good. And when you look back, actually, on what you thought was the worst thing ever in your life, and you discover that you survived it, and that without it, you would not be the person you are now, So you can be completely at peace with it now. You can even be grateful for it now. I've certainly found that for myself, because the worst thing that I could ever think of and that could ever happen to me was the loss of my son. And I have, through forgiveness, actually, I have found that there is no need to forgive something, because it has opened me up to becoming somebody so much different, to what I was before. It has made me so much of a better person than I was before, that I can be truly grateful for the loss of my son.
Wow.
In the way it has happened, because it has happened through murder. And that really is what I want to share with you, that whatever you're going through and however painful it is, if you just is good. If you can hold to that idea, you will have spared yourself months and years of grief and fear and anxiety and worry, and yeah, it will really serve you to know that everything that happens, however painful it is in the moment, is always for your highest good.
Wow. Oh my God. Jania, my God. I've heard you speak a lot. I've been with you for some years, but wow. Everyone needs to watch this back several times and just listen to that and just take that in, because whew, that's powerful. So, so powerful and so needed at this time. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for, and
Oh, you're so welcome.
I want to take that into your new book of the same title. But just before we go into that, I would love to ask now, because wow, that was just incredible. I think you've answered a lot of it here, but I would like to just ask this for the people, because let's say in the light work, let's just say the broader light worker community, so many different labels. There's kind of a few different camps, and there's the ones that are, like you just said, what was unseen before is becoming seen now, and there's a kind of the camp that are very much focused on uncovering all of this, bringing it to the surface actively, letting people know what they didn't know, and that sort of thing. And then the other side you have is kind of those who are actively, resisting these new things, like some of the things that you mentioned. Um, and then there's the people that are kind of in the middle, and they're kind of in the middle. But there's all of this stuff that's becoming seen, and all of the traumas and all of the shadows and all of the darkness of humanity is coming to the surface, and people are dealing with it in different ways. Some people are trying to like show, bring it up and like tell everyone about it and shout it from the rooftops. Other people are trying to resist it and push against it, and other people are kind of somewhere in the middle. There's many layers. What How do we find, I feel you've shared it so beautifully, but let's say people like in different places there, how do we find the common ground where, you know, there is a place for all of those, I feel. There's a place for all of
There
them.
is a place absolutely for all of that.
Yes.
Yes, there must be people who bring it to the surface,
Yes.
and it's their role in this life to bring it to the surface.
Yes.
And different people do have to play different roles. We are in a theater. This earth is like a theater where we play. There is a huge play going on, and everybody's got their own part to play. Okay? And some parts we like and some parts we don't like, for everybody. But when we start realizing that we are not the character in the play, we are the author of the play, and we are the actor in the play, not the character. Making that difference between the actor and the character. So in the play, I am stirring up all kinds of trouble, and maybe killing somebody on stage. But that's the character killing another character. But if I can, inside of me, say, I am the actor, this doesn't concern me at all. I am not the character. The character is just a puppet. It's just an idea. That character is just an idea, but I'm playing that part. But I am not like that, so they can be free of that. This is the important part, I think, of making the distinction. And also this distinction is, of course, things have to be put right materially. That is absolutely necessary. But other people are not those that are stirring. Stay in background and energetically and mentally send healing and send divine qualities to everything that those other people are stirring up. Both of these are needed, right? And whatever you're drawn to, whatever is that's where intuition comes in again, because whatever your intuition tells you you must do, that's your part to do it. It absolutely is. And I have no judgment of those people who stir things up. They absolutely need to do it. But this is not my view of things. I do it differently, right? I am not going to judge them for doing that. I know that even if on the surface they look bad, I know that they are still a part of divinity. They are still a child of God that has forgotten that they were a child of God. And I can hold them in the space of being a child of God while I do not approve of the things they do. You have to have that discernment. I am not with you, but you do whatever you want, but that is not my way of doing things. And I step back from that, but I let them do what they do without judgment, because I know they are also a part of God. They are playing a part. Like, as I've just mentioned the death of my son, when I realized that the man who murdered him was just playing a part that we had all agreed to before we were ever born, that the three of us, me, my son, and that man, whoever he is, we had agreed on a soul contract that he would do this so that I could grow. When I got that awareness of the whole thing being just a divine play, we had all agreed to, we had all co-created it. And there is no more need to forgive anything at that moment. I can be grateful that everything has played out. So does that answer your question about the levels? And
oh my God, like you've just, for me, you've just absolutely, it's just there. It's just there. It's just getting that message to all of those characters, and to realize that they are, Because the reason for the question is because I feel I know the role that you play. I know the role, and I felt the role that you play, and you're very much holding space for the whole collective, and you're in the background, so to speak, but really in the foreground. And then there's people very much in the foreground and the uncovering. And what I feel I kind of play different roles. I'm part of this. So what I feel is important for me and what I wanted to get from you and get guidance from you is to how do we find common ground with those who are those characters that are playing seemingly opposing roles, and even in the like worker community, different ways of seeing. I'm playing a character here who's uncovering the truths and needs to tell everyone about it, and then the person over here that is aware of those things but is not actively resisting them or actively, sharing it with others. Is to find that common ground, and I feel what you've shared there is so incredibly powerful. If we can get to each of those beings that they are the character, they're not the character, they are the actor of that, and they are playing.
They are the actor in that play. Yes.
Yeah, so powerful. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was Jania. Absolutely.
Because the actors in a play, when the play is over, the man who's been murdered lying on the floor gets up, and gives a hug to the man who killed him and says, "Let's go and have a drink together." They are just actors.
This is powerful. Very powerful. Very, very powerful. Oh my God. Everybody who is watching this now or in the future, I invite you to go back and listen to that again and listen to that again, because that is so powerfully put. And I think I've heard it. I may have even shared it before, but something has went so much deeper in the way that you have shared it and shared it from your personal. This vibration that you're bringing today is just like something on a whole other level, and I just want to acknowledge that and honor that and feel that, because it's shifting me. It's literally shifting me, and I know it's shifting people that are watching here, because it's so powerful, and I feel that is the key. That is the key. So we're getting towards the end. I want to. I could talk about this all day, but I want to honor your time because I know you have a call right after this. And I just want to say, Jania has, oh my God, I have learned so much about everything from Jania. But things that a 40-year-old person should be, teaching to an 88-year-old person. I've learned all those things from Jania as well, and especially like with technology and how she just maintains life and all of this stuff is just incredible. So timing is one of those things that we're working on. So I want to talk about your second book that has just been released. And I wanted, just before we go into this, because this is just amazing to me as well. What age did you write your first book at? I know I'm going on a lot about this, but it's so important, I feel, for people, because you hear people saying, I'm 50, my life is over. I'm 60, my life is over. 70, I'm too late. When did you write your first book?
My first book, 4 years ago.
4 years ago. So 84
when
years
I
old.
Was 84. Yeah.
Just amazing. So anyone that's thinking it's too late for your transformation, it's too late to do what you love, it's too late for this and too late for that, I'm sure there's no one on here watching that can say that they don't have time or there's not an opportunity. So I just wanted to bring that. So your second book, you've actually been in other books collaborations, but this is your second book on your own, because I know you have a book with Joe Vitale. People would know him from The Secret. You had a book with him.
Yes,
but these are two books that were solely on your own. And so this second book is aptly named Forgiveness, A Path to Create Miracles. So that was released last week, I think?
It was released last week. Yeah.
Yes.
It's now on Amazon, and you can get a Kindle version, or you can get a paperback version, both. So I'm really happy to present this book, because I think I have taught what forgiveness is and what it's not, because many people have a really false idea about what forgiveness is. This is why they don't want to forgive. Yesterday, I had a call with somebody who told me, I simply don't want to forgive. I can't forgive. It's unforgivable, But there is actually nothing that is unforgivable. We simply have some ideas that are not true when you really, really think about them. Because people think that if they forgive, it means they condone the behavior. It just simply isn't true. Or if I forgive, they will do it again. Yeah. Well, maybe they will. But if you don't forgive, will that stop them from doing it again? It's a question. It just doesn't make any sense, those statements. Or I want them to make restitution for what they did first. I want to get something back, to what they did. Very low level of, and I will also teach you that there are levels to forgiveness, which nobody, I don't think, ever has thought about. I mean, forgiveness is just forgive. But no, there are various levels of forgiveness that I can correlate to the levels of consciousness. Basically, there are 4 levels of consciousness, which are victim, then creator. The 3rd level is a channel for a higher power. And the 4th, of course, is oneness, just being the thing itself. And forgiveness, absolutely, you have to forgive on all those 3 levels if you want to truly understand what forgiveness is. So you forgive as a victim, your forgiveness is just a reaction. It's reactional. When you go into the creator stage, I create my own reality, then your forgiveness becomes transactional. I will forgive you if you do this, or if you do this, I will forgive. Then when you transition to the 3rd stage, which is the channel for a higher power to come through you, it becomes transformational. It transforms you into another being, into another understanding of the whole situation, right? So those are the 3 levels of forgiveness, and people don't usually understand that, and they just forgive at one level and think it's done. Or else they jump from level 1 to level 3 immediately, especially spiritually minded people. They're out of victim. They suddenly have an illumination. I'm a spiritual being. I'm part of God, and I need to forgive. I shouldn't be, thinking bad things of these people. So I'm now going to forgive. They jump from victim to channel, but they have skipped the stage of creator. They did not forgive at the creator stage. And that they have to backpedal. Then even on the channel level, they will still get bad things happening to them because they have not really internalized that stage 2 of creator. How to forgive as well as stand in your power and not let people walk all over you. Because the victim, they let people walk all over them. They're a victim, Even if they forgive, people still walk all over them. But when you're a creator, you own your power and can walk over you just once, no more. Because then you know how to deal with them, because you are the creator of your reality. That step is extremely important in everybody's life. And you will learn how to do that.
Wow.
So, yeah. Anything else I can tell you?
Well,
But we're
I just
we're
invite
sort of
everyone who feels the call to. We will put the link for the book. You can get it on Kindle. You can get it on Amazon on paperback as well to go and read the book. And I know I'm definitely going to do get it on Kindle. And um, wow, I just want to like say, Yanya, I feel this is just a whole nother level that you have opened up today. I don't know how you're feeling, but I'm feeling like you've just opened up a whole new level, a new perspective. I knew you were bringing a perspective, and I knew you always do, and you challenge me and you support me in ways, and I just feel like today has opened up something so powerfully deep and practical, which I love about you as well. Is like it's not just theory. There's practicality and there's simplicity, but there's true power in what everything that you brought. And I just feel like it's so important what you've shared today. And I feel anyone, please, who is watching, please share this video because I feel there's so many people need to hear that message that you've brought today. And they can check out that book. So forgiveness, a path to create miracles. And it's under Yanya's name, which you can see there. And I know you don't really want people coming to you for privacy, but I just have to say this. I've done many sessions, like one-on-one sessions with Yanya, and they are incredibly powerful. They are incredibly transformational, and especially this year for me, they've helped me so much. So I just have to say that. 'Cause I know you're not in any.
thank you, Martin. Thank
Yeah,
you so much. But I'm truly grateful for one thing today,
what's that?
that the internet held up and we didn't have um, to take off the video
Yes,
to hear ourselves.
there was a
The
few. There was.
internet has
Yeah.
cooperated. Isn't it good?
Absolutely, absolutely. There was a few times that it came in and out, but it didn't change the flow at all, and I just kept flowing. I knew because we talked about it before. We were just going to flow, and it was beautiful and powerful, and
Yeah.
yes. So thank you, internet. Thank you for all the technology, and yeah, it's amazing, absolutely amazing. So I know you've got something coming up now, and I just want to thank you again. So people can go to janiaaebi.com. You can check out your name on Amazon for the books. Your first book is on there as well, and your book with Joe Vitale, of course. And anything else you'd like to share before you go? I mean, I think you've just tore the riff off everything here, but if anything else you'd like to share quickly before you go,
Um, I don't know. Is there anything else I can tell you?
I think you've.
Yeah, I think the ability to choose, the ability we have to choose is truly one of the greatest gifts we've been given, and um, we need to use that gift. And because all our life is basically made up of choices, that's all we do ever. We just choose one thing or choose something else or choose something else. So if we choose to see only the very best in every situation, the benefit to you in every occurrence, however bad it seems, life will start flowing. Choose to not judge anyone or anything. And remember your divine nature, which is love, and the divine nature of everyone else, which is also love, however they seem to be appearing at this time. Then divine nature is love. So always choose love over any other quality you may be feeling, regardless of conditions. Okay?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yanya, thank you so much again. This has been absolutely transformational, transcendent in every way. And I just thank you again for all that you are. Thank you for your time and your wisdom today. And I look forward to connecting again
Uh,
further.
Thank you, Martin. Immensely. Thank you so much. It's been great. I've enjoyed this. I've been really excited to be on this. And yeah, I'm really grateful to you.
Thank,
Thank you, Martin.
thank you so much, Yanya. Thank you. We'll see you soon. Lots of love. God bless.
Yeah. Okay, God bless. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Oh my God. Wow, wow, wow. So, everyone, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much to Jania. As I said at the beginning, you're going to get an alternative perspective. And I think we got that, but not only an alternative perspective, I feel you've got something that, like what I've been sharing about recently, is how do we find that common ground? How do we find that place in the middle where everyone's playing their role and no one's wrong or right? Everyone is doing they're playing their perfect character, like Yanya said. It's like, how do we find that common ground? And it's in that space, and I think that's what Yanya has brought so perfectly and beautifully. What a week it has been. If you haven't seen the first two parts of this, just incredible. Our brother Nicky Hamid on Tuesday. Last night we had Gary Cook, and today Yanya. So I think I don't know how many years, if someone can do the quick math, 79 and 82 and 88 together, how many years of physical human life experience that? It's transcended by the wisdom exponentially. But I'm so glad that I was called to do this. I'm so honored and blessed to be able to share this space with these beautiful beings. And I just invite you, please, to share this video now. Share it out on your feed, because I feel it's so important what has been shared here today. And and in the other, like the three together, everything together, just so powerful. So I want to thank you all so much for being part of Wisdom Week, all of you and your beautiful comments. Again, with these videos this week, I've just been mostly in silence, just listening. But thank you. I really appreciate your comments. Really appreciate your sharing. And look forward to seeing what wishes to birth next through us all. But I feel there's so much wisdom in all of the sharings of this week. And I feel like it's important to go back and feel what is true for you and what is right for you, and take it and embody it in the world, and be that actor, knowing that the character is not who you are. I think that's the key, what I'm taking from Jania, among many others. But have an amazing moment. Thank you so much for being part of Wisdom Week. I'm Martin McNichol. I am. Until next time, from my heart to yours, the divine in me sees, honors, and loves the divine in you. Namaste. We are. Take back your choices from conditions. Conditions cannot control you unless you collaborate. Conditions are choices. Collaborate with choices that create freedom, and observe choices that create bondage. You can only be affected by your environment if you choose to believe it is so. Humans are hardwired to go with the crowd and follow the leader. Your true essence is to see yourself as the crowd and choose to lead yourself. Let thine eye be single, let thine eye be pure. Give your single attention for 15 minutes 2 times per day, and you will begin to see what you believe you now cannot see. The word of God is not spoken from above, it is spoken from within. Trust is the part of you that is me, which is in effect all of you. Let everything unfold with trust. Have I ever let you down? Have I ever left you alone? Have you ever not gotten exactly what you needed, exactly when you needed it? Know that I cannot leave you. You cannot be alone. I am you. Your next experience is mine. You cannot choose apart from God, for you are a part of God. So when you choose, God chooses. Do not become a martyr. Do not aggrandize that which is natural and inherent to all. Your need to impress and be celebrated comes from the belief that there is something you need to do or be to be accepted, loved, and celebrated. Do not look for external validation. Accept, love, and celebrate yourself in every moment, and accept, love, and celebrate all others exactly as they are. This is your ultimate freedom within and without. For yours is the kingdom of heaven. A recollection that is a recollection that cannot be unseen is being brought to life. You are the kingdom of heaven made flesh. You are the word spoken. You are the thought manifest. You are the energy in motion. You are the emotion. You are the spirit actualized. You are the morning dew. You are breath in you. You are the spring dawn and the darkness too. You are the first thought and the last laugh. You are all of it. Just choose to be, not have. I speak to you every day in every way, but none more potent than in child's play. So go now and make of your life a beautiful game, and allow yourself your heavenly name. Speak it loud and speak it true, for you are heaven and I am you.